To realize your purpose here on this earth, you just gotta do one thing. And that is to listen. To listen to your innermost truth and then act from that embodied place of presence. Hey, I'm Virgo and this is Psychedelic Actualization. On this channel I'll share my journey on how I actualized my psychedelic insights into real lasting change. And I help others do the same in the Psychedelic Actualization Path to Purpose community, where we talk about how to actualize and realize our purpose and our direction in life with clarity and alignment after psychedelic experiences. So I've had a couple 5-MeO DMT journeys recently, and they completely shifted my mind from being in one mindset to another one. I was kind of like far off into the pendulum of really using my mind to realize my vision. So with goal planning and with a calendar and setting appointments and really thinking about what action steps I could use to realize my vision. But what the 5-MeO DMT was showing me and what my experience was showing me, that first of all, I wasn't really happy. And that's your first clue, I would say, in when something is not alignment, it doesn't feel right. Like something in your life is not feeling right. That's your first clue to be like, okay, there's something going on here. And there's an opportunity here for me to actually align my life a little bit more. Because I'm not acting out of this innermost truth of my being. I'm not listening properly. So for myself, it looked like I was listening to my mind, but my mind was rambling on in these loops almost like of thoughts over thoughts and doubts over doubts and overthinking over overthinking, right? But I was overlooking and not listening to what my body was saying, what my intuition was saying, what my feeling was saying on what's true and what's right for me in this very moment to do and to pursue. So as I shifted my mindset, it looked like a process of surrendering. Surrendering basically my control over my life. Surrendering this attachment to thoughts, this attachment to structures and to plans and to goals and to, this control of what I set out to do, what I want to do. With this rigid, tense structure and this rigid, tense desire that I want to follow through on my action steps of what I truly want to do. It got to a point where I realized that I can't do it. Like no matter how much I try, no matter how much effort I put into everything I do, I can't do it. Because I can't do anything. I can't. No matter how hard I try, I can't do it. So now I'm in this process of letting go a little bit more, surrendering myself, surrendering this attachment to thoughts and to plans and to structures. And what is left then is just this pure, awake presence in the moment. Getting really, really present. And also a little bit more of a silence in the mind space. And from that place, there is a certain intuition on what I am most excited about doing right now. And this is how you actually realize your purpose here on this earth. It's not coming from all of these structures and mind plans and controlling your life. It has its use, the mind as a tool, but actually acting from your excitement, acting from your bliss, as Joseph Campbell is saying, right? Follow your bliss. Or Basha, I think, popularized a little bit this concept of following your highest excitement without expectation on the outcome. But if you do that, then automatically I've found that life is flowing a little bit more. Everything feels a bit more effortless. You're in tune with the Tao. You're in tune with yourself and with your innermost truth. With what your body is actually kind of like called to do. I like this phrasing in relation to discovering and actualizing your life purpose as well, of a calling. You can ask yourself that question, what am I called to do? And that phrasing of the calling is implying an active act of listening. Because if you're talking all the time, if you're overriding and thinking and overthinking and doubting all the time what you should be doing, then there's very little space to actually listen to life, to God, to your innermost truth. And then you're not hearing what life has to say, where life is actually calling you, where God is actually calling you. So the practice then basically to follow through on this embodied presence, to actually figure out what your highest excitement is and where life is calling you, is to quiet down. To quiet down your mind. And the mind might come up with excuses of why that's not a good idea. Oh, then we're not doing nothing. We're doing nothing. We're not accomplishing anything. We're not moving fast enough. We're not using our time effectively if we're just actively not doing anything, right? But that's the key. There has to be a certain kind of practice, I have found, that is aligning you with your center, with that silent space within your heart. Right? In Christianity, in the Bible, they say, those with a pure heart, they will hear God. What does a pure heart mean? Or in Buddhism, they have a similar phrasing of no mind. That those who embody no mind are entering into, I don't know what they call it, lotus land. I read it this morning. But it basically means the same thing. Also in the Bible they say, those poor in spirit are entering heaven. What does it mean to be poor in spirit? It basically means that we are emptying ourselves of ourselves. That we are humbling ourselves. And we are almost like giving up ourselves. Because then what's left is this open vessel for this divine energy force, for consciousness to work through us, to act through us. And I found that when I enter into this deep silent space, it's not that I'm not doing anything. Counterintuitively, from this free space, from this liberated silent space, I'm acting even more effectively, more effortlessly. And things are getting accomplished without me doing anything. It refers to this concept of Wu Wei as well in Taoism, which is basically saying a quietude of doing, a doing from being, an effortless doing by non-doing. So this is basically the one thing I've learned recently. It's just really to listen to that innermost truth. And how do we listen? We listen by actually quieting down, by becoming silent. And as a side note as well, it doesn't mean that we are neglecting our mind. It doesn't mean that we are judging the contents of our mind and the thoughts. Because thoughts and the mechanisms of mind are still playing all the time. And it's not that this is wrong, but we do not identify with it. I think it was Nisargadatta who said, if you don't identify with your mind, what does it matter if it's busy or a quiet mind? You're not identified with it. You're recognizing that the contents of your mind are thoughts that are appearing in consciousness. And this is just what it is. This is a thought, and this is a thought, and this is a thought. And by that, distancing yourself from these thoughts, there's a bit more space for you to feel what's true and what's present and what's in alignment. And furthermore, it's even useful then to make use of that mind. It's a wonderful tool. It's a wonderful mechanism, this mind that we have, these thoughts that we have. Right? Through thoughts, we are living in duality. We are living in this dualistic sense of language as well, which is inherently relative and dualistic. Well, ultimately the relative is the absolute, but that's a topic for another video. But with this mind, we can then engage as well in beautiful processes of guidance. For example, I recently thought, okay, when I want to follow my highest excitement, I will feel into myself and I will let my mind come up with things that I'm passionate about. So I wrote this whole list of things that I'm passionate about in words. Doing a sauna, temazcal, sweat lodge, massage, bodywork, breath work, running, gym, extreme sports, slackline, balance, dragon, skydiving, climbing, reading, studying feng shui, human design, I Ching, survival skills, bushcrafting, learning Spanish, gardening, an aeroformalithic movement, doing some more eye gazing, going out into nature, learning music, learning how to cook chai. All of these things my mind came up with when I was tuning into this resonance on what's exciting me. And that's beautiful. So now I have a list and I don't have to come up with new things in the moment, but I can feel into the moment, listen on where life is calling me, and at the same time have reference points that my mind was coming up with. Because everything I said here, like, it sounds so simple, and it is. But that doesn't mean that it's easy. It's not easy to do. It's not easy to embody this understanding that the 5-MeO DMT was revealing. It's far from easy. It's a process of embodying this. It's a process of cultivating that, of practicing that, and then of not judging ourselves to fall back. Because we can fall into confusion, we can fall into this fog of our mind, we can fall into the identification of thoughts very easily, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and that's okay. That's fine. But then to remember that over and over again, tune in, listen. Where's life calling me? What's my highest excitement? What does it mean to follow my bliss in this moment? And to let go of the outcome, let go of the expectation, and just give it my all, do that to the best of my ability. Automatically, I've found in the last few weeks that what feels like is my purpose, when I let go of this I, even the purpose of just this vessel playing out its wonderful play here on this earth, it's just automatically happening. I don't have to put too much control into it, of like, this is my vision, and this is what I'm gonna do, and these are the action steps that I have to do to get there. I followed that process for a long time, and it has kind of worked out beautifully, but I found it's attached with much more effort, with much more struggle. So now, there's a little bit of a freedom. You don't have to struggle too much. You don't have to put too much effort into this process. Life is intelligent enough. We can trust that process. If you're curious about joining a community with like-minded people who've had psychedelic experiences and who are looking to actualize their life purpose with clarity and ease and effort, and from this place of truth and alignment and presence, then you're welcome in the Psychedelic Actualization Path to Purpose School community. where we come together with live meetings every week and where we work with what's present for each of us. And we can exchange resources and information to actually discover and realize and embody and actualize our life purpose together as one. Link is in the video description. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you very much for watching. Namaste.